Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise in support of this bill and would like to urge the Senate to vote for it likewise. I'll let my service here in the state Senate speak for itself in terms of supporting our public schools. There has not been a measure that came before this Senate that I felt was detrimental to our public schools that I didn't stand up and fight against it vigorously. Likewise, if it comes to funding and making sure that our schools have the appropriate monetary funds to make a difference and to push it forward, I have stood squarely there. In fact, spending quite a few hours currently on that topic. But I support this bill because, number one, I stand with President Barack Obama and what he's trying to do with school reform in this country. And let me say from the outset that the vast majority of public schools in Virginia, over 90% of them meet state accreditation standards. Well over 80% of our Title I schools are making adequate yearly progress. So there is no wholesale problem with public schools in Virginia. They're sound, they do a great job, and we all benefit from that. But I think President Obama understands and recognizes that despite a superior and a very strong public education system that I totally agree with and will defend to the bitter end, we have schools right here in the Commonwealth. In fact, schools just south of here that for the past 7 years has not made adequate yearly progress. So that means those children who are in those schools that are not making adequate yearly progress, that are not meeting state accreditation standards, over half of those children's lives in schools have been in schools that simply are not making the mark. I think the President is correct in trying to identify in a strong public school system where we have some areas that need extra attention, need additional funding, need some renovation, not to the detriment of public schools, but to help pull up all of our public schools. That's what this bill represents to me. I was pleased to sign a letter in support of the Commonwealth's application to the Race to the Top. And I think all of us knew that we were probably a long shot in this first round. But that application meant in dollars and cents the potential for an additional $250, $300 million that we could earmark specifically, according to the President's program, directly to the schools that need the help and the children that are there. This is not anti-public schools at all. If it was, you wouldn't see me standing up here. This bill represents an opportunity to strengthen our public school system. There's no detriment to this. Where we have weak links, we need to support them. We need to pull them up. We need to make them stronger. That's what President Obama is trying to do with his Race to the Top program, Mr. President. That's why this bill fits with that. I hope we apply for the second round of the grant applications, and I'll be there to support it, and I hope the Senate will support this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. For what purpose does the